This is the most crucial part of this trailer. Most people in addiction will tell you that these are some of the things they've never been told. I am proud of you. I love you. I miss you. I need you. You are important. You are strong. You can do this. Hey everyone, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us again on another episode on Coffee with Kuda. Today we are going to be discussing the new movie coming out called 4 Good Days. Spoiler alert guys, if you haven't watched the trailer, please go watch it so at least you can understand what I'm talking about, and always keep in mind that I'm talking from the perspective of someone who is in the background of addictions work. So this movie has Glenn Close and Mila Kunis, who I really appreciate. Glenn Close is an amazing actress herself, and so is Mila Kunis. I cannot skip the theme song by Reba McEntire. This is an amazing song. It screams hope. You know, it screams hope to the society, to the people in addiction. The song is called Somehow You Do. So, 4 Good Days. It's a movie about a daughter who is going through heroin addiction, and she's now trying to get sober. And her mother, Glenn Close, takes her through to the treatment centers to see a doctor, and she also looks after her children while the daughter is going through this battle. The trailer starts with the doctor telling Mila that opiates have 97% relapse rate, which I don't agree on, because as many studies as I've seen, as many studies as I've read, opiates have about 80% relapse rate, which is already a high number anyways. So I don't understand why they had to stretch to 97%, because then that just tells us almost everyone relapses, which is not true. So the doctor here actually offers Mila Kunis opiates antagonist. So something like Suboxone. An opiates agonist is something that works similar to the opiates. So for example, methadone. Now, opiate antagonist, when you're given this medication, it's supposed to repel the heroin so you don't get the effects again. Moving on, Mila Kunis actually asks a very important question. She says, is this medication safe? To which the mother replies, is your body a temple now? Why are you interested? This is very powerful, because it shows the stigma that these individuals are facing. So this is what we have to realize with people in addiction. Now that they're addicted, how can we still help them to prevent further harm? This is why harm reduction is very important. And if you are for their well-being, you cannot necessarily be against harm reduction. So that was a very important question from Mila Kunis asking, is it safe? This trailer shows a broken family from heroin addiction. Kaylee, who we interviewed here on our show, says, addiction separates you from everything and everyone you love. And we see that here in this trailer. So the daughter's sister actually reaches out through the mother saying, how is she doing? The daughter doesn't actually talk to this girl anymore. This is important for us to know, because that's how bad addiction gets. However, it also reminds me of how us as a community, we need to realize that if your family member is going through this, if you don't go and reach out to them, who do you think will? Sometimes you just have to put your differences aside and understand that she or he needs our help. How can you expect healthcare workers to show compassion to your brother if you yourself don't even talk to them? Glenn Close, we are seeing here when she's talking to Mila Kunis, saying 1 day is almost down, there's 3 more days to go, and Mila is, she's in pain, she's going through withdrawals. I love the idea that they are highlighting these withdrawals in this movie. While she's fighting in these 4 good days, she's better off just using more heroin to not go through the pain. And some people decide it's better to just do that because the pain is unbearable. Mila is seeing when she's trying to hug her daughter. I assume either she's going for a treatment center, she's going to a recovery house, or maybe she lost custody to her children. But the daughter almost gives her a cold hug. And then Mila Kunis is seen so devastated. What I like about this is because the daughter is now old enough to understand that you're not in our lives and all we want is you in our life. That part is powerful and I hope the movie does it justice. If you watch episode 7 on our show where we interviewed a lady called Jason, she says she was giving her son a haircut and the son says, "Mom, I know you are an addict. If you don't get help, I will never see you again." This scene right here with Mila Kunis trying to hug the daughter almost tells me exactly that. So, moving on real quickly here, there's a part where Glenn, the mother, says to the daughter, "I'm so sorry, I should have been around." And Mila says, "Yes, you should have been." This is perfect because these are some of these conversations that need to be heard now, not later in the future. I'm sorry I was not around. I want to be here now and support you in your lowest points in life. This is perfect because she replies and says, "Yes, you should have been." We have to expect a pushback. The person is in pain. They were hurt. So I think it's very realistic. I do like that part. She says, "Yes, you should have been." And then, of course, Glenn responds and says, "You think it's my fault that you're an addict." I'm not saying she should take the blame, the mother, but it's important to also take responsibility. Part of my responsibility of raising a child is to be there to guide them, to show them the right ways, and to pick them up when they fall. Take some responsibility, especially if you were not in her life, like you said. I am not saying take the blame because each person are also responsible for their actions. It's a powerful scene. I love it. And I debate in my head back and forth who is right, who is wrong. I hope the movie will give me an answer here on who is right, who is wrong. But it's never about who is right, who is wrong. Now that you are facing someone in addiction, it's about doing what's right. Mila Kunis is seen screaming. She says, "I'm so sorry that my drug addiction is so incredibly difficult on you." Brilliant line. And I love the acting. Except I don't think anyone who is an addict would actually ever say that line to their loved ones. I think in the movie it works. It's a realistic line. I think people fight and these things are never said. But like I said, brilliant acting. I love it. It does tell the viewers the point of the movie. It's an important line to tell us why there is a disagreement here. It is because the drug addiction is the problem. So moving on here, we hear from Glenn Close, and she says, "I get the feeling that I don't want to love her anymore." This is crucial. Very, very important. I have interviewed people who tell me, "My family disowned me. My family don't want to talk to me." It's incredible to be able to understand that parents, not that they don't love their children anymore, but the addiction that they're fighting against sometimes wins this battle. We do see a scene in this trailer where Mila Kunis is talking to a classroom of high school students. I like that. I do like it. That someone with a lived experience goes and speaks to youth is perfect. I'm only confused though that why is she talking to this specific classroom? I'm confused as in, does she go to every different classroom and say, "Who wants to hear my story?" So I love the notion, I love the idea of talking to youth. I just don't understand why this one specific class, unless it's a class of troubled youths, then amazing. So she says in this classroom that trying to get high, she ends up stealing. This is important to highlight to youth because being addicted to drugs most likely will lead to the life of crime because now you have to feed the addiction. So you either steal break and enter, or rob people. So highlighting the fact that this addict is now committing crime is important. So I do like that they are touching on a lot of factors that are being led by a single heroin addiction. Mila Kunis also speaks about battle for her children. This is again something we hear a lot on our show. The biggest battle someone in addiction is trying to get away from addiction is to not lose their children. It's even more powerful to realize despite that they continue using. It should be able to tell you how powerful addiction is. As the trailer comes to an end, Mila Kunis here says, "I'm sorry, mom." I like that because, again, one of my interviewees says, if you have gone through addiction, you will stoop to laws that you never thought you would and do things that you never fathomed that you would ever do. So it's important that when you come out of addiction, you make amends. And this is what Mila Kunis is doing here. She's making amends with her mom because she did stoop to laws that she never thought she would. As the trailer, of course, continues to close to an end, here's what we see. We hear the voice of Glenn Close, the mother, saying, "If there's anyone who has the strength to break this, it's you. I really believe that. I am proud of you." I'm assuming this is on a recorded tape, a voice message, something. But this is the most crucial part of this trailer. Most people in addiction will tell you that these are some of the things they've never been told. I am proud of you. I love you. I miss you. I need you. You are important. You are strong. You can do this. People in addiction don't hear that enough. And some of the problems come from they were never told that they are strong enough. So they succumb to something such as addiction. They were never told that they are important. So they end up succumbing to something like addiction, which doesn't argue with them. If you saw our interview with Sunny, he says, everything that I face in relationships, like fighting, arguing, I don't get that from heroin. But in those relationships, if you're told, I love you, you matter, you are important, I'm proud of you, you will not then lean on addiction. This is why I find this trailer to be so important, and I love that they highlight these important factors. So I definitely do appreciate that they touch on withdrawals, they touch on a relapse, they touch on a broken family. Very powerful parts of this movie. Some of the main points that I look forward to seeing how they highlight in the whole of the movie. With that being said, April 30th, the movie comes out. I cannot wait to watch it. I will watch it, and if my time allows, I hope I can sit back and tell you guys how I feel about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you following me through this. Please do let me know, what do you think about what I said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in your comments, guys. I cannot wait to interact with you. Do let me know what you think, and if you wish to, do message me personally. Just DM me on my Instagram at Coffee with Kuda. I'll see you guys soon.